welcome back to Behind the Harvest podcast. We're so glad you're here. We hope you've enjoyed the first 2 episodes of Dan. We're glad to have you back, dude.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me again.
After the new year, we still have Christmas up, but Christmas is a season, not a day, so it's okay. It's permissible. If you would do us a favor, smash the subscribe button, and share this with people. Today, the reason we brought Dan back is we got into some good topics the last couple of times, but we never got into like soul care and the idea of soul care. And you've done that amongst all the other things that you've done in your life.
Yeah.
And so I think we should probably start with what is the need? Why, if somebody's watching this, why do they need soul care? Like, what's happening?
Ooh, man, that's a great question. You know, just in hanging out with people, right? The reality is, man, we're busy. Mm-hmm. I mean, we are over the top, out of control busy.
Yeah.
You know, we've got wives, we've got husbands, we've got kids, we've got jobs, we've got yards to care for, cars to fix. On and on and on and on. And these wonderful, amazing phones that keep us distracted, and television, all of these things in our lives that just grab our attention. And we get so busy that the one thing we leave out of all of that is caring for our soul. Mm-hmm. And man, when that happens and you all of a sudden hit bottom, which we do eventually, right? We all have. The reality is all of us are broken in some way.
Yeah.
We've all got wounds from somewhere in life. And when those things start surfacing, which they do, they surface in an ugly way usually, man, how we react to that sometimes can be we take it out on our wives, take it out on our kids, our coworkers, all of the different people that we just kind of interact with in our lives, and we've never really learned how to sit and be still.
Yeah, because you were talking about like the suffering. And so like the things that I've seen as a pastor and things that I have experienced, you know, we suffer, so we work more.
Right.
So if we can just put our focus in on our work, we don't have to worry. We can kind of block everything else. We suffer, so we binge watch.
Right.
We suffer, so we distract ourselves with the phone. We suffer, and therefore it gives way to substance abuse. We suffer and we can't be still. And so even though we know that we're maxed out,
right,
we just add more things because then we don't have to pay attention to or deal with the suffering. Right. And so we just, even though we may subconsciously know it's not good for us, even though we may not want to blow up at people, right. We suffer. So we spend money. Oh, that's going to make me feel so much better.
Right.
Right. And it doesn't.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
And none of the things do.
Nope.
I'm gonna suffer. I'm gonna make this other post. Maybe I'll get 75 likes this time.
Right.
And it'll make me feel better for a moment.
Right.
I'll get a little hit, right? Serotonin hit.
Yep.
Right? And then it'll be over and I'll need 80 likes the next time.
Yes.
And so it is kind of one of those things where when talking about soul care, our culture is not a proponent of soul care.
It is not. It is not a proponent of slowing down, admitting feelings, having emotions, admitting you're weak and need help.
Yeah.
That's not American way, buddy. It's just not. It's suck it up, buttercup, and keep going.
Yep.
And when we do that, the reality is we are missing out, quite frankly, on the best part of being with Jesus. Mm-hmm. He loves nothing more than for each of us to stop, to be still, to sit with him, to allow him to love you, to call you his beloved, and just to care for you. But we have to stop to do that. We don't know what stopping even looks like in America. It's so busy that, quite frankly, we just lose it, and we just keep going and going and going, and we miss out on more than Sundays, quite frankly.
Well, yeah, because you have no margin. And to be frank, doing soul care, pausing, observing Sabbath, having quiet time it's extremely disruptive for our schedule.
Right.
Because if we're going to do that,
right,
everything has to revolve around that.
Right.
Right? And it's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But it's disruptive for everybody else. Because if we say we're going to spend 30 minutes sitting with the Lord
right,
at 9 o'clock in the morning,
right,
Oh my gosh, I was trying to get you. I've been trying to call you for 15 minutes. Why didn't you answer the phone? Why didn't you did you see my text?
Yeah.
Or did you see my email? But it's so countercultural.
It is. And if you think about the hardest part, that's a big deal, and it is. But the hardest part is being still and listening to God. What if you hear things from him that he wants you to deal with? Then where do we go? What do we do with that? Most of us don't really like to sit and be still and start self-assessing, right? Becoming self-aware of all of our wounds, all of our frustrations, all of our anger. And it's pretty scary, quite frankly, to be still and to be with the Lord. You know, you hear all of these stories, you think it's going to be fun and great. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it can be painful.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
Yeah, it is tough because when you sit with the Lord, you know, it's one of those things where like you and I could go and have coffee.
Right.
And I could completely mask who I am.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You would
can
never
put on the
know.
happy face,
Right?
right?
I put on the happy face, pastor face. Oh, we got it all together. Family's great. All that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we do that for the most part.
All day.
When we sit with the Lord, it's not just, he knows not just what's going on in the present, but all of the things in the past.
Right.
And it's not necessarily about the places where we've sinned all the time.
No, it's the
hurt wounds that we've experienced.
It's the wounds.
Yeah.
Those are the things we act out on, right? Is our own wounds and yeah, it's our wounds. It just is. That's how we act out with people.
Yeah.
Is we don't know how to process those. So when someone says something that could come across, quite frankly, as innocent from their perspective, you lash back out simply because that's touching a trigger point in you, and you don't know what to do with it. So you defend yourself. We become very defensive because, well, that's touched the little angry spot inside of us that doesn't come to the surface too often.
That's right. That's true. All right. So let's maybe define for people what soul care is.
Yeah, soul care. That's a good question, isn't it? Soul care is, you know, if you look at it from a biblical perspective, how about we do it that way? Let's just think of a good story in the Bible that we would really use to kind of define what soul care is. If you think of it this way, I think you got to go with Jesus, right? He's a good starting point for the Gospels, or the Gospel. It's his Gospel. What if we go to blind Bartimaeus? It's a great story for soul care in the Bible. You look at Bartimaeus, he's now gotten his way through the crowd. He's fought his way through the crowd. He's now standing in front of Jesus. And Jesus asks him, and he's blind, by the way, blind Bartimaeus. So Jesus asks him this one question. What would you like me to do for you? That's the question Jesus asks Bartimaeus. Now, the crowd is sitting there going, dude, the guy's blind. What do you think he wants, right? Jesus knows more, though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So let's think about Bartimaeus for just a second. Bartimaeus is blind. So the very first thing in his culture is people want to know who sinned. Was it you, Josh? Or was it your mom and dad?
Yep.
So you're a sinner. So now, Josh, you're blind also. So you're a beggar.
Yep.
How many people really see you and know you when you're a beggar? None.
Yeah.
So you're lonely. So it just goes on and on with Bartimaeus, right? So when Jesus asks Bartimaeus, what is it you want me to do for you? Jesus is going below the surface.
Yeah.
That's what soul care is. It's moving below the surface. Because when you talk to a lot of people, they'll tell you this amazing thing that's gone wrong in their life and all of this and all of that. But if you sit with them long enough and ask them enough questions and just allow them to finally start talking, and they actually have a human being sitting across from them that's genuinely listening and is for them, which is what Jesus is with Bartimaeus. Guess what comes out? Brokenness.
Yeah.
The wound. And that's what Jesus is asking Bartimaeus. He's going, what do you really want? You see, Bartimaeus really wants to be restored in his relationship with God, because that's broken. He's a sinner, according to everyone in culture. He wants his relationship with others, the community, to be restored.
Yep.
And he wants his self-worth and dignity back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're all looking for as human beings. We're looking for those things. We want to be seen and heard. And most people, if you ask them how many people genuinely listen to them, really listen to them, it's minimal, almost none.
Almost none.
So soul care is being present with someone. It's loving them incredibly well, letting them have a safe place to express their wounds, anger, frustrations, disappointment with complete love, trust, and no judgment.
Yep.
That's soul care. It really is. It's loving someone really well.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Jesus would do.
Yep. Yeah, it's a
So
great.
how about you, man?
It's a great story, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a great story. I think it's one of those things where, for me, I remember, and I've told this story before. When I kind of went on this journey and realized, or whatever, like what I really needed. We were in Dallas, teaching, doing seminary, we planted a church. We had Caleb, all that stuff. And I remember one morning I walked into school, and I would work out, right? So I could barely stand.
Yeah.
I could barely utter a word in this moment. I remember it so distinctly. And so typically what I would do is walk to my class, and I'd stand out in front of my, door, and I'd high five the kids, and oh my gosh, it's good to see, all that kind of stuff. And this particular day I went and I put my bag on the floor. I didn't even hook up my computer. And I got a chair, one of my students' chair, not even my chair. And I sat it out front of my classroom, and I just sat there, waiting on the kids to come. And as I was sitting there, I realized something. In this moment, I feel nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I'm not joyful. I'm not sad. I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated. I literally have no feeling. And it scared me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's a bad place to be in.
It's a bad place.
Better to be angry. Better to be frustrated.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, it is.
Than it is to sit and literally have no emotion. And what I realized in the moment was my life had zero margin. Zero. Up at 3 a.m., to bed at 11, back up at 3, bed at 11, worked Saturdays, worked Sundays, all that kind of stuff. And I had to come to realize, like, my life had to change. And that by changing that, it was going to be disruptive. And that's where I learned Sabbath.
Okay. Good for you.
Back in Dallas.
Yeah.
And so I just went to Sarah and I said, listen, Saturdays, it's got to be Sabbath.
Yeah.
This is not, unless we have this, unless we have it. No. Black and white. Like sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, it is no work. We are going to sit. We're going to enjoy. If we've got Caleb, and he didn't sleep. So, we weren't getting, we weren't getting a lot of sleep. But like, we're going to go on walks.
Love it.
We couldn't afford coffee, so we couldn't go get coffee. We're not going to go out to eat. We couldn't afford to go out to eat. But we lived in an apartment. It had, a lake going down the side, or a river kind of thing, and then a lake on the back. I was like, we're going to go on walks. We're going to watch movies. We're going to sleep in if we can. We're going to take naps when Caleb naps. We have to observe Sabbath, because if not, I'm going to die. And I remember, and that decision was disruptive. I remember calling the senior pastor of the church that we had helped plant and saying to him, I can't be on the elder board anymore. He goes, but I need you to be on the elder board. I said, but John, I can't make the meetings. He goes, we'll work around it. I'm like, dude, I'm literally like, whatever. And he did work around it, and it was fine or whatever. But it started to disrupt things. And I realized that when you intentionally live your life, right, with trying to create margin, and what I call it now on the calendar is white space.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. I got
What
a
are
thing
you
called
doing?
the desert days.
Right? What are you doing it from 1 to 2?
Yeah.
I have nothing.
Yeah.
We don't have this email. I'm actually not going to do anything.
Mm.
I might sit here and read a book.
Yeah.
I might sit here with the Lord and journal.
Yeah.
I might go on a walk. I might, right? And realizing that, like, it's not just that I needed that.
No,
It's
your
that everybody
family
needs
needed
that.
Yeah.
But Sabbath is never going to be taught to you.
Nope.
Margin's never going to be taught to you.
Nope.
Time, and at this point, I had a mentor that really poured into me. Spend time with the Lord. Sit with the Lord. Sit with the Lord. Sit with the Lord. Learn to listen. Learn to hear from Him. Learn how He is speaking to you. And it literally changed my life. And we still observe Sabbath today. I mean, I tell people, if somebody's dead, dying, or missing, right? You can call me on a Friday or Saturday, right? Friday afternoon or Saturday. If not, you're not going to get a response because it can probably wait.
Yeah.
And that is disruptive.
Yeah.
People don't like that.
Yeah.
They get upset about that.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to be available 24/7. No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I'm not. I'm supposed to be available to my wife and my kids 24/7.
Yeah.
Right. But so anyway, that's my story. And what I realized from that by slowing down and observing Sabbath is I have such a need for approval. And the way that I get approval is by accomplishing things.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
By doing things.
Yep.
But right?
Yep.
And yet that comes out of my own brokenness.
It does. It comes out of a need to be needed, a need to be enough. So the way to counterfight that is being still.
Yes.
Being. So Jesus invites us, he invites all of us, not just you, not just me, but he invites all of us into being versus doing.
Yes.
You're called a human being, not a human doer.
Yes.
So we've all been defined by what we do.
Yeah.
And Jesus is like, no, man, that's wrong. You're defined by me, by who I say you are.
By the way, there's never been a time where I've carved out time to spend with the Lord and not doing something where I felt like He said to me, why are you not writing that email?
Right.
Why are you not writing that next sermon? Why are you not texting that person? You know what He says?
I'm glad you're with me.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I've missed you.
I love you.
So how about this? So I was talking with a dear friend of mine not too long ago. And this is a person who knows me really, really well. And I was asking for some, not necessarily advice, but just some wisdom.
Yeah.
Mostly. And I asked him to pray for me for about a month and then get back to me with what they hear from the Lord. And the craziest answer came back, because it wasn't even what I was looking for, truthfully, as far as the answer goes. But this person says to me, I just want you to know Jesus says He misses you. That was the answer that came back from my friend, was Jesus says He misses you. It isn't like Jesus says, well, you're not doing this. You're not doing that. He goes, actually, you're doing so much that I miss you.
Yeah.
And then this friend goes on to say, He also told me to tell you He sees the good works you're doing and loves that, but He misses me. So what if Jesus really misses us when we get so much into the busyness of this world that the reason He came, what if this is true? What if the reason He came was for relationships?
Yep.
And if we don't even give Him relationships with us because we're so busy, what if He misses you?
Yeah.
Not what you do, but He misses Josh.
You.
Imagine if that's true, how that could change all of our lives if we just rest into that truth.
Yeah.
That's soul care, man.
Yeah. No, it's so profound. And and it makes me think about like stuff like Sabbath and whatnot. And it makes me think about the original 10 Commandments, right? And some of this is kind of fresh because I'm preaching on this Sunday, and I got a part 2 on Sabbath coming too. Some of this is fresh just in that study, but I think it's very applicable.
Yeah.
Especially for believers. There are, I think if we were to go and say, all right, I want you to go through the 10 Commandments. Should we violate? Oh man, yeah, we shouldn't murder. We shouldn't steal. We shouldn't commit adultery.
Right.
All that kind of stuff.
No God before no other God.
Well, hold on. I'm going to get there. But when we get to the first commandment, I shall have no other gods before you.
Darn it.
And we get to the fourth commandment that we should Sabbath, we violate those
Darn it.
daily.
Every day. All of us do.
Everybody.
You too, by the
Of
way.
course. All the time.
Yeah.
Right? You shall have no other gods before me. Was that true August through January?
Not Georgia.
football?
No,
I mean, is that
no
true,
way.
right? Is that true, with whatever else, right? Like, I mean, with whatever else. Is that really true? I mean, even in the sense of good things like Sabbathing and practicing, are you putting that before me? Is that your
that's a
God?
good
Are you
one.
worshiping that? Are you right? Like even the things, right? We have
So
to be,
even the good spiritual practices
of course, can always
can
be.
become a God within itself.
Yeah, I had a lady in Colorado. She was really mad at me. Imagine that. And she said, "Well, I have not missed church since I was 13 years old." She's probably like 48.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, "You know what?" She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I think I know what your problem is."
You need
She's
to
like,
miss
"What?" And I was like, "You need to go on a 2-week vacation, not go to church."
Yeah.
I'm like, you have made it such an idol. You have forsaken the relationship with God, right? For the institution,
Love it.
right? And so we have to be, but those 2 commandments, right? And probably the other one is, I will not covet.
Right.
Right? Those 3 in our culture, I feel like are so prevalent. But if we're to obey those, it's so disruptive. It's healthy. But here's what I've always heard. The healthiest people are the most disruptive. Because they see the unhealth and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So they're so disruptive, but it's like, what would our life look like if we did Sabbath? Right? Like I was even thinking about like if I could get more of a raise if I didn't obey Sabbath, I'm more likely to get fired by observing Sabbath.
Yeah.
By pausing, by resting,
Yeah.
by not doing, by right?
Right. But if you think about the life of Jesus, a great example of what you're talking about is this. He's in one of the big cities, been healing, praying, saving, rescuing people for 6, 8, 10 hours, right? Crowds 9 miles long still. The disciples are going, they love us. They're finally not trying to kill us for a change.
It's amazing.
This is kind of a nice day for us. And he goes, and Jesus goes, boys, I'm out of here.
Yep.
But they're like, whoa, the line's 9 miles long, Jesus. He's like, yeah, we're done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Why is he done?
Gotta go rest.
Yeah.
Gotta go, not just to sleep.
Right. No, not a
To be
nap.
with his father.
To be with his daddy.
Yeah. I read a book years ago called Master Plan of Evangelism. If anybody ever wants to read an amazing book about Jesus and his ministry, Master Plan of Evangelism is phenomenal. But one of the things that stood out to me in that is the author, and I can't even remember who the author is because it was forever ago. He said, one thing that we miss in Jesus' ministry is that he always went and broke away and spent time with his father.
Right.
Not only for relationship, but also so he could be led.
Right.
Right? So like
it is so he could be led, because he tells you, he goes, I can only say the words of my father.
That's right.
So how can he say only the words of his father if he never hangs out with him?
Exactly. All right, Dan, so we've talked a little bit about Sabbath and rest and why we need it, soul care, what it is, and all that stuff. So when you have sat with people, men and women, what are maybe 1 or 2 kind of common themes that you're seeing as far as that trauma, that hurt that people really suffer with that's prevalent in our culture? And there may be more than 2.
Oh man, I mean, it's a lot, right? Everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
We all have our own wounds. A lot of it in men is self-worth. It's really, really, they don't know how to express themselves. They struggle with feeling like they're enough in this world. Their self-worth is broken.
Where does that come from?
I think it comes from not feeling that their parents were present in their lives.
Okay.
That their parents weren't. I think even in my case, like when I grew up as a kid, my dad was so busy, right? He worked all the time. He worked all day, every day, and quite frankly, a lot of evenings. And I just never really got to have a father in my own life. And I loved my daddy. I don't mean it that way, but my dad was so busy providing from a financial standpoint that he never really spoke into my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of our challenges come from with men is, and ladies too, is we haven't had enough people in our lives that just speak into our lives well.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big challenge. I mean, I know it is for me. I've always struggled with being enough.
Yep.
Right. And that's a part of my story would be is I always have just struggled with being enough in my life. And that just really stems from not having people in my lives, my parents, who affirmed me and said great things. And when I would play golf tournaments and win them and all of those things, they never were expressing love that way to me.
Yeah.
So I never really knew what love was like, quite frankly, until I got married.
Yeah.
So, and I
And
didn't
you
really
think
know
that happens a lot?
I think it happens a lot still.
Yeah.
I don't think it just happened in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I think it happens a lot still. I think people really struggle with expressing their emotions.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I think husbands and wives don't know how to communicate well with each other. I mean, that's the biggest thing I see in marriage, quite frankly. When I sit with guys, they're frustrated with their wives in the sense of they don't feel like the wife values them and appreciates them. And if you were to talk to the wife, she would say the same thing about the husband. And she would be like, he never, I do all the cooking, I do all these things, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, he never expresses gratitude for any of that.
Yeah.
So in our own marriages, in our own lives, we've really struggled with being able to just express how much we value and love other people in our families.
Yeah.
And there's an emptiness there.
Yeah.
There's a loneliness there.
Yeah.
Like I spend an amazing amount of time with this beautiful lady who they've been married for so long, they forgot why they've been married.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. They really have. And they now, thankfully, they're working on that. But for many, many years, they just existed together.
Sure.
Right? They were just two people living in a house together. And they didn't express love. They didn't express passion for each other. And they didn't know how to do it. They forgot. They've been so busy doing things in their lives that they forgot the most important thing in their lives, other than the Lord, is loving each other.
That's right.
And they get lost in that story somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I think it probably goes back right to the busyness / not ever being modeled.
I think it does. I think at least for this couple, when I would sit with a wife, I would ask her, I'm like, have you ever expressed these things out loud to your husband? Well, no. I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Why haven't you just sat with him and said, hey, I don't want you to feel bad. I just want to share with you where I feel lonely or empty in my life. And she's like, well, he won't respect that. I'm like, how do you know? So they finally started communicating with each other. And now a year later, their marriage is thriving.
Great.
Because they're able to be honest with each other and talk with each other and go, kind of like you were saying about Saturday Sabbath, right? They were going, we're going to spend time together. We're going to do quality things. We're both so busy, and they both run big businesses and they do really well. But we want to value and love each other. And if we don't have that, what is the point in having all of these other things?
Right. That's right.
He would go buy tons of cars, big cars, expensive cars, and all of this and all of that, and he's never happy. And she would go spend all the money on all these other things, and she's never happy. Well, the reality is, materialism doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah. That's true.
Gives you happiness for a couple of days, maybe.
Yeah.
But after that, you're right back where you were.
It's interesting about being happy, and how do you evaluate it? How do you evaluate happiness? And this is where this is just me personally, where I have come now. If I can't sit on my front porch and sit there and be happy, then I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah.
I have to be able to sit on my front porch, look out at the wind in the trees, the kids playing, whatever, and be like, man, this right here is enough for me.
Yeah, brings joy.
Oh yeah, love it. It's one of my favorite places.
Yeah, it's your favorite thing.
Right, but that takes, to get to that place, it actually takes intentionality.
That's the hard part.
Right, yeah, right. Like this is what it all boils down to, having margin to be able to uproot and dig up things,
Right.
right? To get to a place where you're like, man, I'm good just sitting on my front porch.
Right.
I actually love sitting on my
Yeah,
front
you're
porch.
at peace there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Peace is a hard thing to find.
Yeah, it is.
It's, if you think of shalom, right? Sabbath, shalom.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom is at peace with everything, right? It's not just being, oh, I'm at peace with this. It's at peace with yourself,
Yeah.
with others, with God, with creation. So shalom is diving into full peace with everything.
Yeah.
And that's the invitation, again, that marriages should be into, is how do we learn to have a rhythm in our lives together of it being intentional, of going, you are a priority.
Mm-hmm.
You actually are more important than my job, more important than my pastoring, quite frankly. My kids should be more important than those things. There should only be one thing in our life above that, God.
Yeah.
So it should really go in the order of God, family, work.
Yeah.
That's the call as a Christian man. Christian family should be God, family, job.
Yeah.
Not the other order. We have it backwards, friends. We go job 1, job 2, by the way,
Yeah. Job too.
and a borderline job even at night when we're at home. And then we go, well, we'll spend a little bit of time with the family on Saturday, but we're really going to watch college football, or we're going to watch pro football on Sunday. I'm going to go play golf with my buddies or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm just too tired to hang out with the kids and the family all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
I'm exhausted.
Because we've done so many things that God's going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's what we find when I spend time with most of the people I sit with. They've lost what matters most.
Yep.
They think that by having a great job, making a ton of money, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And there's truth in that, right? We do have to have good jobs. We do have to make a living. We have to provide for our families, but not at the expense of our own souls and of our own relationships with our wife and with our kids.
Yeah.
So somehow we have to start taking all of this back. That's hard.
Yeah.
It is. Sometimes we have to look at the job and go, not happening.
What do you mean take it back?
I mean, reprioritize our
Okay.
lives, right? We have to take back the ground we've given to our jobs and to all of the other things that keep us busy, and go, I want to prioritize my life in this order. God comes first. Means I spend time with him every day as best I can. Family second, and I can only love my family by spending time with God. I can't be a great lover of my wife and my kids if I haven't been loved well by the Lord.
Yeah.
So I spent time with my Lord, spent time with my family. I can now love my family well because I've been with the Lord. Then after that, we go, man, our jobs are an important part of our lives.
Of course.
And they should be. And we want to be good at what we do because we want to work as until we're working for the Lord. Of
course.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we all should in any jobs we have. But it should never prioritize above our family or God.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to take back.
Yeah. You know, you're talking about this, and there's a famous pastor. He's had some difficulty recently, but Bill Hybels of Willow Creek. And Willow Creek, they started that church, and they grew to like 15, 20,000.
For
like
sure.
that.
Chicago.
Right. And I heard an interview with him, and they were asking him about the growth, right? And this was his reflection. I thought the last part was really significant. He said, yeah, man, we grew really fast and saw some great things, and God did some great things. And he said, and we destroyed a lot of families in the process. And it's like, man, when you have someone who literally has reached the pinnacle,
Right.
right? 20,000 person church, multiple campuses, influenced the whole generation, written tons of books, like all the things, keynote speaker, global leadership summit. I mean, all of the things, right? I mean, he has reached the pinnacle.
Right.
But his reflection at the end is, but we destroyed a lot of families.
Right.
And I'm like, man, that right there tells me everything I need to know about perspective, about how he sees things, about regrets that he has.
Yep.
That, yeah, we did all that, but we destroyed a lot of families. And it's like, man, we can't let all these other things be at the expense of the health of our family and our health with our relationship with the Lord.
You can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. That's the invitation or the call of Jesus. That's why he takes Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he stops and spends time with Dad every day. He's like, if I don't do these things, I'm not going to be a great lover of people the next day.
Yeah.
I can't love well on empty all the time.
That's right.
You can't. You can only give what you've received.
Correct.
So if I'm constantly churning and going at 100 miles a second all day, every day, what have I got left to give?
Yeah. You have nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Is that the way it should be?
Mm-mm. You know, that's how I feel a lot about with spending time with the Lord. It's what I feel a lot of time about reading. You know, I'll sit here and read, and for a lot of people, like, that's what you do. And it's like, a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have anything intaking, I don't have anything to give anybody.
You don't.
Right?
Correct.
Like, there has to be an intake. There has to be a pause. There has to be a quiet. There has to be a moment where we're getting input from our Father, input from the Word, input from so that you actually have something to add value to other people.
Right.
Right? Because if not, you're just going to run on old flames and eventually
you burn out.
Yeah. And that's not a fun feeling.
It's not.
No. So, like, what are if somebody's listening to this and they're like, okay, this sounds like great. I need this.
Yeah.
It's going to be inconvenient for you to live a life like this.
It is.
But what are some I mean, you know, it just is a reality. But what are some spiritual rhythms that you see as non-negotiables? I've talked about Sabbath for us, right?
Yeah.
White space.
Mine would be similar. It's silence. It's silence and solitude. It's for me, I'm very intentional about getting away. Getting away from, even at my job, I'm like, guys, I'm going to leave for an hour and a half. I'm leaving my phone in my office. I'm going to go, when I lived in Illinois, we lived on the river there too. I would go sit on the river for an hour and a half with the Lord, and people would be like, dude, why are you doing that? I'm like, if I don't do that, and I come back to work without resting and spending time with the Lord, you're not going to like what you get.
Yeah.
I'm going to be grumpy and grouchy and tell you what's really going on.
Yes.
But if I carve out time to be with the Lord, to rest, to slow down, what if I even reflect back on how my morning went? What if I reflect back and go, I might need to apologize to someone.
Yeah.
But if I keep going, I'm never going to know I need to go apologize to Josh for just trampling him. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to keep going and doing and doing and doing and doing. Right. But if I can stop in the middle of my day and just go, I want to spend time with the Lord, and I want to reflect back on where I was close to God and where I was pulled away from Him in the course of my day. And they both happen. Don't kid yourself and go, I'm always going to be close to the Lord and I'm always going to be drawn in. No, man, sometimes we get drawn away. Mm-hmm. We get pushed in the wrong direction. We get pulled in the wrong direction. And we respond sometimes inappropriately, truthfully. But if I can stop and reflect on that, I go back and apologize. I ask for forgiveness. Yeah. I do what I'm supposed to do as a Christian man. And then I try to do that again at the end of the day before I go home. I try to spend at least 15 to 20 minutes with the Lord and go, how have I been today? How's my day been? How have I been drawn closer to you, or how have I been pulled away from you? Yeah. And in those moments, I reflect back and go, okay, I need to go apologize again. Or, man, I had a pretty good afternoon. I did well. I loved well this afternoon. Mm-hmm. So for me, it truly is silence and solitude. It is the model of getting away. Yeah. And just being with the Lord. Yeah. Now, the challenge for me has always been in silence. In all honesty, it doesn't always feel productive. Sure. And the way I'm wired, and sometimes the way you're wired too,
Yes.
if we don't have productivity, it feels useless.
Mm-hmm.
But what if in the quiet, God is doing some work that we don't see?
Yeah.
So sometimes when we're doing these things that seem unproductive,
Mm-hmm.
what if God's doing his best work inside of us?
Yep.
So that's why I would encourage everyone at home that when we start doing this practice of silence and solitude, it is going to feel unproductive for you. But that's where God does his best work, is in the silence.
Yeah.
So you may not even know what he's knitting back together sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it really is silence and solitude. It's reflecting back on how I have reacted with people,
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to be aware of when I'm not loving well.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, and I would even say like, we have a lot of responsibilities that we've talked about, but it's like it's our responsibility to know ourselves, and it's our responsibility to do something about it and to get the soul care.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility. I have people, and they'll be like, well, why don't you answer the phone all the time? Or why don't you do this all the time? Or whatever. And I'm like, well, naturally, I'm an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had meetings back to back to back, phone calls back to back to back, eventually by about Wednesday, you would not like me very much. And neither would Sarah, and neither would my kids, because I'll get angry and short and frustrated and all that stuff. Yep. I know that.
But that's self-awareness, though. That's important.
It's self-awareness. So what do I need to do? I need to carve out rhythms for the week.
Right.
Not just on a day, but rhythms of output, input.
Right.
Output, input.
Right.
Right. Lights on. I mean, once you guys leave, literally, this house will be completely dark.
Love it.
There will be no lights on in this house. And for some people, it would drive them crazy. For me, it's like,
love it.
let's get back. So it's also being self-aware, which also takes time to pause and reflect and all that stuff, and then recognize it's my responsibility to no one else's. My responsibility to put myself in a situation to where the Lord is going to work in me. Yep. Instead of getting mad at someone for texting,
Yep.
it's my responsibility to wait and to sit.
Right. So when you think of your self-awareness, what have been some of the key noticings for you in that, in your own life? You talked about that if you go too long, you can get short or quick with people. I think that's a great noticing. But what other noticings for you in self-awareness have been really important, both in your personal life with your family, but also in how you lead a church?
Yeah. So, I mean, some of the self-awareness things are kind of like, I know that I can come off as very direct.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there have been times where I'll read a text message or something back to Sarah, and she's like, you sent that? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you mad? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm just direct.
Yep.
Right. So that's self-aware of, okay, can I slow down enough to craft something that doesn't just come off so direct? Okay. Number one. Number two, I have realized, and I've said this to people, that the stage is the most freeing part of the week.
Right.
No nerves.
Right.
No nothing.
Right.
I get excited about it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay. Off the stage is extremely overwhelming.
Okay.
Okay. So what I know about that and how I respond to that is I can oftentimes look like deer in headlights. I can be short, and I will not remember what we talk about. So I've had to realize that by hurting people. Okay.
Yeah.
And say to people, okay, you're telling me this, you're going to remember you had this conversation. I'm not going to. If you will either text me or let me write a note or email me.
Yep.
Right. And then we can go, I can do it on another time. So, I mean, those are self-awareness things. For me, I also know that I'm really competitive. And so lifting weights is my outlet
Okay.
for that.
Okay.
And as Sarah would say, it's not just something you enjoy doing, you need
it.
Because if I don't do it, I get angry and frustrated and pent up and all that kind of stuff. So, so those are self-awareness things. I also know that I have a need for that time with the Lord, for the white space during the week. And I have a need for learning and growing and reading and things like I have to have that. So those are like 5 things from a self-awareness standpoint. And I also have learned to not be afraid to tell people I'm not really good at that.
Love it.
Mercy and administration, I'm not great at it. Like if you want to sit with me and talk to me about all of your things, like you're really good at that. I am bad at that. I mean, I just don't. And it's just, and I've learned that like the way God has knitted a church together is that he's brought so many people that can do that for folks. And so it's like, as one pastor told me, because I tell people, if you want help, you don't want me. And I'm like, yes, I'm not great at it. I don't really know what to say. Right? I'm like, stop it. Like, don't do that anymore. I mean, or whatever. And so I've learned that, that those are some self-awareness things. But I think it's not just about saying it's really just being willing and authentic to communicate to people. Like I'm good at about 3 things. And outside of those 3 things, I'm actually not really good at anything else.
That's honest though. That's a good noticing, man.
I just don't know, like this person's going to be way better at this and this person's going to be way better at this. So those are some things that I think are just so important. I had somebody tell me, they looked at me and I told them something that they didn't want to hear. And they said, and they weren't mad at me. They're like, you know what? You're just so honest.
That's a good thing.
I'm like, thank you. Even if it's something I don't want to hear, even if it's something I disagree with, like you're just honest. You'll just tell me like I see it. I know what I'm going to get with you. And I'm like, that's where we need to get to be like, man, I want to live an authentic life of who God has made me, of what he's called me to do in the healthiest way possible. And not settle for anything less than that. Because I only got 1 shot. Right? And anybody, you get 1 shot. Mr. Dennis gets 1 shot. Anybody listens, you get 1 shot. And so it's like, it's your responsibility, not just to the Lord, not just to yourself, but to everybody around you, whether you're a leader or you work in an office or construction, for everybody around you to not settle for anything less, but to literally be the best, the healthiest person that God has made you. And guess what? Not have to apologize for it.
Oh, amen.
Right?
Amen to that.
All right. So I think we're running up against time.
Okay.
This was super fun.
Yeah, this was super fun.
It was great. And I hope you guys enjoyed it too. We could probably talk about this for like 9.
Oh, I got like 3 more questions.
Sure. Maybe we'll just have you back again. But hey, if you would, like this, subscribe. And seriously, if there's somebody that you feel like would just be helpful, not that they're going to listen to this and all of a sudden their life is going to be changed. It's going to be great. But maybe it's a starting point or somebody needs to just hear it. We'd love for you to share it. We'll see you next time. God bless you.